fakes the run, wide open for the touchdown. And off to the races, Denard Robinson. Here's a man wide open, and it is complete to T.J. Jones. Ripples from the pocket, and the pass intercepted off the tip.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Michigan Game Day. I'm Bernie Smilovitz, along with former Michigan head coach Gary Moeller. We're going to kind of take apart this game that we just watched here for about three and a half hours. What's your initial comments with Michigan's 28-24 win over Notre Dame in a game where Denard Robinson, again, was center stage?
Right. Bernie, you said everything right there. You know, I didn't see Tom Harmon play in his era, believe me, but that has to be one of the best performances offensively by a football player in the Michigan uniform, and probably throughout the country on a lot of teams.
I would think, in watching him, I bet most people are wondering, how long can that kid, who doesn't appear to be tremendously large or big or anything, stand up to this punishment week after week and put these numbers up? 502 total yards today. Amazing.
Amazing. Over 800 yards in 2 games. Let's hope he's like a Barry Sanders. He's quick enough to avoid all those hits that he's going to get, but it's going to be tough on him, but he is a real delight to watch.
All right, get ready. We're going to roll the highlights. We're going to go from the top. The first half started off, and here we are. It's the Irish with the ball, and this is Dane Chris, 3rd and 14. Finds his big tight end, Kyle Rudolph, for a first down, Coach.
Yeah, those two at the beginning of the game really dominated from an offensive standpoint for Notre Dame and drove the ball right down and scored. Then obviously the quarterback gets hurt. Chris gets hurt on the play after this sneak.
And here they go. They punched it in here. But that would be it for Dane. He took it in, and then he did not play the rest of the half, and they didn't give a reason why. They said he had problems seeing out of his right eye.
Right. I don't think that came from, well, you never know, from the quarterback sneak that he scored on. You got to assume it's something else, and but they said he never had any problems prior to the game.
And here's Notre Dame freshman quarterback Tommy Rees takes his first snap of the game and gets picked off by Jonas Mouton, and that would be very, very costly for the Irish. Tough for a freshman to come in this situation.
And a trick play like this. But watch the break here by Mouton, number 8 on our left, coming right across, reading the quarterback's eyes, which you teach every linebacker to do. Did a great job there. That's an excellent play.
And Michigan's first play after the turnover. Well, here's the turnover again. Mouton, once again, he did a terrific job today. And here's Michigan's first play after the turnover. Denard Robinson to Roy Roundtree, and that's a 31-yard score.
Right, and all they were doing is the same play. Robinson ran the ball earlier in the game, and they played run. You could see everybody coming up, and Roundtree ran right by him.
But that's what you have to do with Robinson. You have to honor the run because he'll kill you one way or the other. And here he is again to Odoms for 31 yards to the Notre Dame 1.
Basically, this was a bad coverage by Notre Dame. They were short one man out there. We had 3 out there. They had 2.
Hopkins from 1 yard over. It's 14-0 Michigan, 14-7 rather, Michigan at this point. Or make it 7-7.
7-7.
7-7. Second quarter, Michigan with the ball. Robinson's going to find a crease.
Not 7-7 anymore.
Not anymore. He finds a crease, and he is gone. 87 yards for the score. Amazing athlete this kid is.
Right, and just before that, we saw him fake this run and throw the pass. So you really put the defense back on their heels a little bit. Great block there. I believe that was, I think it was Roundtree.
If you're defensing this kid, what do you do, Coach?
Well, I think the number one thing you do, and it would be very difficult, believe me, it's always easy to talk about it as a pass coach, but I would stand and kind of wait for him to come to me. I wouldn't jump at him in any way, Bernie.
That's Riddick catching the ball, and they reviewed it, and it was he was inbounds, so they counted. But here's Montana. What did you think of that call? 21-7 at the half, and Brian Kelly decided not to take the 3 and went for the touchdown at the very end there.
I just believe you got to take points. You know, I've always believed that until you get under 5 minutes in the game, or maybe 10 in the fourth quarter, then you can kind of evaluate what you want to do. But when you can get points, you got to try to take them. And it proves out here, but yet it could have been a 1-point game, I guess.
Yeah, well, exactly. If you got those 3, there's a lot of different things you're doing in the second half that you're not doing the way you did it. All right, anyway, we're back with Gary Moeller right after this. We'll look at the second half. More as Michigan beats Notre Dame, the final 28-24. Stay with us. Welcome back to Michigan Game Day. I was just saying we were coming down the hall. It's so much better to do one of these shows after they win than after they lose. You know what I'm saying?
No question about it. Now, Rodriguez feels a heck of a lot better than we do, I'm sure. But we're very happy for him, and they did a great job.
I want to ask you, they're up 21-7 at the break, and Chris had been out. And so what's Rodriguez saying? What are you saying to your players, and you're playing at Notre Dame?
Well, you got to say to them, hey, we got to just keep the game right where it's at. The greatest thing, Bernie, is there's no turnovers in 2 weeks. I hate to say that. It's one of those things that always comes up and gets you. Yeah. But you look at that, and then you say, well, who's going to be the quarterback? And you got to tell your kids the same thing. And Robinson, on our defensive coordinator's got that problem. But Jones, Chris, the quarterback, was 5 for 7 throwing in that first drive and ran for 30 yards. Yeah. So he was doing a good job and did a great job in the third quarter.
Yeah, but losing him didn't hurt Michigan at all.
No, that helped a lot.
That did help the Michigan cause. All right, we're going to go to second half highlights, and we're going to start in the third quarter. Dane Chris came back after being out for just about the entire first half, except for that first series, and he looked pretty good coming back here. Notre Dame with the ball, and he's going deep to T.J. Jones, 53 yards for the touchdown. What happened there, Coach?
And Jones, well, the rotation, but the safety's got to come over deeper there. He was a little shallow on his rotation. They looked at one guy and then threw the other. That's a great play there by a freshman receiver making a great catch there.
So Notre Dame is right back in this ball game. But, he let go of the ball there just before he got to the goal line, but nobody noticed that. Once they kicked the extra point, the play was on its way.
Right, and he was. It should have been a touchback.
Later in the third, Irish with the ball. Armando Allen down the sidelines, 29 yards, steps out. That set up a field goal. Michigan 21-17 at this point. You could feel the tide, the momentum really shifting in this game.
You're exactly right. He did a great job of running the ball. This kid, I believe, is a senior right now and not a fifth-year guy. But he's done a good job. And right here he steps out and brings back, 20 yards there that he doesn't get on the run.
And here's Chris again from his own end zone, three-man rush, and whoa, the big one to Rudolph, and he is gone.
Yeah,
95
a great
yards.
Receiver, 95 yards. That is a big, big play. And as you said, it turned back and forth, and now you're getting a little nervous.
But you're rushing 3 men at this point. Would you be rushing 3, or are you sending more power on Chris?
Well, they rush 3 a lot, and sometimes it works, and it hurt them a couple times. And this is one of those times that it hurt them. But your secondary's got to stay back when you're doing that because they're going to get a lot of help underneath.
All right, Robinson here on a late drive finds Michael Shaw, fights his way for 18 yards down to the 9. But they said he stepped out of bounds, and he did. You can see there, Coach's right foot.
Which he does. And this is a great play by him. I know he goes out of bounds, but that's a great job of keeping your balance coming up. And then he takes a big hit here and hangs onto the ball.
All right, and then Robinson here late in the fourth gets Roy Roundtree 15 yards down to the 2-yard line, and they are cooking here, as you can see, with under a minute to go.
Right, good move by Roundtree, but at the same time, this Robinson is really throwing the ball extremely well, and he's one kid that we thought would be a great runner, but he's passing very well.
And he comes in and scores the winning touchdown from 2 yards out, and Michigan hangs on and beats Notre Dame 28-24. Now, what concerns did you have in seeing the game? Michigan didn't score in the third quarter after a terrific first half. They didn't score any points in that. But they did come back in that fourth quarter when they needed it.
Exactly. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you said, lackadaisical a little bit. Not that they were relaxed. They just didn't want to do anything to mess it up. And I think they got a little conservative, not in the play calling, but in the play of the players. They didn't want to have a turnover or something or make a mistake.
And they also came up with a 12-play, 72-yard drive, which took them to the winning touchdown with 27 seconds left. And as a coach, that would probably warm your heart.
Oh, no question. And the other thing, hey, you take all the time away from Notre Dame. They did that 4 times last week against Connecticut. They had long drives and really paid off.
Now, how much did you see from either of these teams that would say to you, these are teams that are going to have to be reckoned with the rest of the way?
Well, I think they're very good teams right now. And if we don't turn the ball over and do some of the things we have been, we expect to get better just like everybody else. And Notre Dame's above where I thought they would be.
Oh, is that right?
With their quarterback, yeah. I watched the Purdue game last week, and I thought he was good, but I think this week he played even a lot better. But obviously missed some. But our team is growing. When you can go into games like that and never have a turnover, that is really special.
Yeah, and Joe Montana's kid came in there in the first. At one point, I thought they were going to bring Joe Montana out of the stands down to try to rally them.
Yeah, that's what they would have liked to have done, I'm sure.
A lot of pressure on that kid, I would think.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my
With
God.
the
Playing at Notre Dame as Montana's kid, is that like the craziest thing you've ever heard?
That would be tough. You're exactly right.
Let's talk a little bit about Denard Robinson. I mean, the splash in these 2 weeks. I mean, I'm looking at these numbers, and I just cannot believe it. Today, 244 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 258 yards rushing. That's 502 total yards just today. In the 2 weeks, he's had 885, and here's that long run, the 87-yard touchdown in the first half. What's he got, Coach? Is it the quickness, the elusiveness?
Right there's an example of speed kills. I'm going to tell you one thing. When a guy, he can make plays, but then he has the ability to hit the home run, go the whole way, because he has a great top-end speed. And if you talk to that young man, he's a great kid, too, and happy to see him do this. And we just got to hope he can hang in there physically.
He is the question. I just got the final stats in here. Michigan on third down, 3 out of 16.
Right.
Ugh. But Notre Dame, 4 out of 14, not much better. But total yards, over 1,000 yards of offense in this game, 533 to 535. It was an unbelievable game. If you didn't have a rooting interest on one side or the other, this was a terrific afternoon. Terrific way to spend your afternoon.
Yeah, it was a good afternoon, I think, both ways. Notre Dame's going to be disappointed in their fans, but they're going to look at their team and say, hey, they're getting better, and we're better than we were a year ago.
So you like what you see so far in Michigan? They're 2-0. UMass will be here next week.
Oh, yeah. I like where they're going, and I think they're going to continue to grow. And they're going to have some problems. People are going to catch up and try to defend things certain ways, but they got a whole package now. That the running by Robinson is excellent. Then he runs like he's taken off, and the next thing he throws to a guy that there's no one around.
That's for sure. All right, great seeing you.
Good seeing you,
former
Bernie.
Michigan head coach Gary Moeller. I'm Bernie Smilovitz. That's it. Michigan wins at 28-24. The Wolverines 2-0 on the season. Coming up next, Local 4 News with Steve Garagiola. Good night, everyone.